What is going on, guys? It is Wrestlelamia here, back with some more news. Join us now as Wrestlelamia looks at the wildest wrestling news stories and rumors you need to know, including Becky Lynch's return plans, the original Sin Cara accidentally unmasks himself, is WWE changing Dominik Mysterio's name, is Kevin Owens upset with the WWE, and much more. Be sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell for daily wrestling videos and follow us on Facebook for exclusive lists. Now let's hit the intro and get straight into the first story. Now our first story looks at Becky Lynch's return plans. Now it looks like there's more evidence that Ronda Rousey will be back to fight at WrestleMania 37, and according to a report from Wrestling News' Paul Davis, her opponent will be a superstar fans haven't seen for months. There have been stories of Rousey training with wrestlers such as Natalya and more recently James Storm, who rumor has it was supposed to begin with the WWE until the pandemic interfered with this, and murmurings of Rousey's return. However, Davis has an interesting report which is more than mere speculation. A WWE source told us that things are still on track for Rousey vs Becky Lynch in a singles match at WrestleMania, and that match could end up being the main event. A WWE source told us Vince is hoping for Becky to be back in January or February to start the one-on-one feud with Ronda. Lynch is expected to give birth in December, which theoretically could have her back in the ring for WrestleMania. Davis went on to report, Vince wants WrestleMania to be the show that says WWE is back, according to the same source. We can't do Becky vs Ronda in the Thunderdome with no fans. He wants the fans back, and they will be back by the time Mania rolls around. This ambitious plan will depend not only on whether fans are allowed back, but whether Lynch wants to return. She may change her mind after she gives birth. Next up, Jim Cornette blasts Tony Khan. Another exchange in the seemingly endless social media shitstorm between Jim Cornette and All Elite Wrestling. Recently, Cornette shared some details on a conversation he had with AEW president Tony Khan in the company's earliest days about working there. The first time I ever spoke to him on the phone, I said, Tony, I'm the only one I'll tell you the truth to because I don't want the job. That was 2 years ago. I was 57 and now I'm 59. That's almost 60. I was not going to be getting on airplanes and flying around or driving around to wrestling promotions events that were being held all over the country. That's regardless who it was. I'm not interested in that. Cornette went on to say that he wouldn't even work with AEW from home, explaining, I'm gonna stay at home and write my thoughts down via email or phone them in and take a check for it? Well, if it was a goddamn real promotion, Pinocchio, absolutely. If there was a way I could help, you couldn't do anything with this show, even if you were on the ground there. Unless the first thing was fire half the roster and start over. Jim Cornette's disdain for the AEW product is well known, and there have been plenty of barbs being exchanged by him and wrestlers in AEW. Don't expect this war of words to end anytime soon, as Cornette thrives on dissecting what he disagrees with about the AEW product. Next up is Dominik getting a name change. Now, a recent trademark application for the name Dominik with a C, rather than a K on the end of it, has some folks speculating WWE may change his name up for marketing purposes. What's interesting is that it doesn't include the name Mysterio, so are they dropping that entirely and just going with the name Dominik? Hey, they've done it with the past with Ali, Biggie, Cesaro, Rusev. How's this going to be any different? Well, whilst we're on the subject of the Mysterios, is Rey Mysterio ready to return to the ring? Now, during an appearance on Talking Smack, the master of the 619 revealed, there's no reason why I won't be back to the ring soon. I was a bit concerned in the beginning since the procedure, post-surgery, was slow and it took time for me to recuperate, but I'm already at 99%, so I'm looking for bigger things to come. Now, Rey suffered a torn tricep not long after revealing he signed a new deal with the WWE. Hopefully he can dodge the injury bug so he can compete alongside his son on SmackDown. Next up, a house show's not returning until 2022. It looks like fans might not be getting to attend house shows until 2022. The WWE has been eager to return to running shows with live fans, but pay-per-views and TV tapings may be the only venues in the coming year, as WrestleVotes is reporting, I've been told that the typical weekly live event loop, Friday TV and house shows Saturday and Sunday and Monday TV, all of which in different locations, won't return to the WWE schedule until 2022. This should come as no surprise, not only because the pandemic put a stop to all live events, but because the WWE has all but gutted its live events department. You may recall that there was even talk of the WWE scrapping its live events due to the terrible attendance numbers before the pandemic. Next up, Alexa Bliss sends a message to Sister Abigail. Alexa Bliss seems to have fallen under the Fiend's spell, with Bliss falling into a trance at the mention of his name and now accompanying him when he lays out his opponents. Recently, Bliss demonstrated her descent into darkness when she tweeted a video of her and The Fiend delivering simultaneous Sister Abigails to Zelina Vega and Andrade, along with this message: "Hello Abby, I'm Alexa." The name Sister Abigail has intrigued Bray Wyatt fans for years, as they've wondered just who the witchy woman is whose name Wyatt has invoked throughout the years. As fans ponder what connection there may be between Alexa Bliss and Sister Abigail, the WWE has done a good job building up Bliss's transformation. They have a superb storyline on its hands, and they would do well to treat it as one of their major programs, because with the right build-up and nurturing, it could help revive Raw. Next up is Kevin Owens unhappy after a WWE tweet. It looks like the WWE social media department has done it again, this time apparently aggravating former Universal Champion Kevin Owens. A recent tweet by WWE.com read, "Congratulations, you're the first SmackDown GM. First order of business, who should face our champions?" A graphic showed 4 potential challengers for the Universal Championship, including Otis, Seth Rollins, Daniel Bryan and Big E, while another part showed 4 challengers for the Intercontinental Championship, including Lars Sullivan, Apollo Crews, Aleister Black and Kevin Owens. But Owens tweeted, "Not that I would turn down an opportunity at the IC title, but it looks like you have me in the wrong category there." Owens is one of many talented stars on the Blue Brand who could be inserted into a Universal Championship program against Roman Reigns, but it's uncertain if KO is part of what looks to be a build to Roman Reigns vs The Rock at next year's Mania. Sadly, he went from one of the hottest programs of 2019 with his feud with Shane McMahon to a holding pattern on Raw, with his biggest achievement being his feud with Seth Rollins. Owens deserves a better program on SmackDown, and while he may be out of the main event picture, a run against Sami Zayn seems like a good place to start. Next up, Sin Cara accidentally unmasks himself. Bad news for the famed luchador Luis Ignacio Alverde, who rose to fame as Mystico before working in the WWE as the original Sin Cara, as the masked man accidentally unmasked himself to fans during a live stream. Luis, who now works as Caristico, a hybrid of his 2 past names Sin Cara and Mystico, was chatting with fans via livestream when he signed off and unmasked. The only problem is that he only thought he'd signed off, which meant fans got to see him without his mask. Naturally, a fan captured the image and posted it on Twitter, which is a serious loss of face, no pun intended for him, given how keeping one's mask is a source of pride. And finally, Roman Reigns talks helping Braun Strowman evolve as a wrestler. Last but not least, Roman Reigns recently talked to CBS Sports about the evolution of Braun Strowman, a man Reigns has battled many times over the last few years. He mentioned, on day 1, he didn't know left from right. It's been amazing to see his growth as a performer. There's times he'll say some stupid stuff and you want to smack him, but he means well. He's a big guy with a lot of charisma and a very lovable guy. There are times where you can see that he's getting it and starting to understand what he's supposed to do and why he's supposed to do it. For me to have been one of the first to take him on and show him the way, I'm just happy that he trusted me." Now, the road to success in the squared circle can be a bumpy one, as seen by the career of Braun Strowman, a man with considerable charisma and size, but who struggled early on in his career. Strowman's recent run as Universal Champion suggests the monster among men has what it takes to be a legitimate main eventer, and it will be interesting to see how things play out on his new home of Raw. But there you have it guys, the wildest wrestling news stories and rumors you need to know. Be sure to leave your comments down below, subscribe if you haven't already, follow us on Instagram and Facebook for exclusive lists, and I'll see you next time with some more wrestling content.